President Erdoğan, social media channels have gradually turned into a big operation apparatus. President Erdoğan said, social media channels, where there are no rules, no values, no moral boundaries, have gradually turned into a major operation apparatus. In his speech at the opening ceremony of the first-term Assistant Judges and Prosecutors training at Beştepe National Congress and Culture Center, President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan emphasized that judicial activities derive their strength and reputation from the competence of the jurist and their superior moral values such as commitment to justice, explaining that the Justice Academy has been renewed, strengthened, and its facilities have been expanded with the understanding of effective education for reliable justice on the basis of this truth. Erdoğan said that they have spared no sacrifice to ensure that judges and prosecutors, who form the backbone of the judicial system, are trained in the best way and can fulfill their duties properly, pointing out that the institution of assistant judges and prosecutors is the product of an intellectual pursuit and search carried out with this belief. Erdoğan noted that there are a significant number of people who have studied law in the country and a significant number and variety of institutions and faculties providing legal education, stating that a significant increase has been achieved in the number of lawyers, notaries, personnel with legal education, judges and prosecutors in the last 22 years. Erdoğan continued as follows. The number of judges and prosecutors, which was around 9,000 in 2002, has almost tripled to 25,000 today. Undoubtedly, it is important that this numerical growth is accompanied by quality, that quantity is supported by quality. In this respect, the education and training of those who oversee the administration of justice is a separate and important issue in itself. We can talk about a certain degree of institutionalized and traditional education in law, and a methodology of this education. However, we all know that this education is no guarantee for a good judge, a good prosecutor, or a good lawyer. We must make this distinction very well. Law faculties teach ideal and relevant law. Professional knowledge, skills, and competence, on the other hand, require an effort that goes beyond faculty education. Professional maturity and competence are skills developed by practicing that profession. It is values that bring knowledge together with wisdom and knowledge. But the bridge that connects values and knowledge is experience. In a quote attributed to Hazrat Mevlana, this distinction is described as follows: what the young cannot see in a mirror, the old can read in a piece of brick. We intensified the examination and evaluation processes of deputies. Erdoğan stated that it is very easy to access information, and that the desired information can be accessed quickly from a cell phone or computer. But that experience and wisdom still preserve the quality of being a guide that protects people from losing their way among the mass of information, stating that they are trying to achieve this balance and blend knowledge and experience with the mechanism of assistant judges and prosecutors. Erdoğan said, with our new training model, we aim to prepare you and those who will come after you for the profession in the best way. Accordingly, while the duration of candidacy was 2 years, we increased it to 3 years for deputies. We increased the training period in the academy from 7 months to 10 months. Thus, we will ensure that deputies receive 300 hours more training. Erdoğan noted that they also intensified the examination and evaluation processes of the deputy judges and prosecutors and introduced the obligation to prepare a thesis for the deputy judges and prosecutors in order to improve their research, analytical thinking, reasoning, and writing skills. He said that the deputy judges and prosecutors will thus undergo an intensive, theoretical and practical training for 3 years, including 10 months of academy training and 26 months of training alongside instructor judges and prosecutors in a master-apprentice relationship. President Erdoğan said in Nasıl, one of the bedside books of Turkish law, the definition of a judge is very succinctly stated as follows. According to this definition, which is a source of inspiration for current searches even 150 years after its entry into force, a judge is a judge, an intellect, a judge, 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 a judge. To put it in today's Turkish, A judge is expected to be wise, discerning, straightforward, reliable, trustworthy, respectable, and of a firm character that does not give up in the face of difficulties. These values and virtues are acquired to some extent through knowledge and education, but above all through experience. Expressing his belief that the assistant judges and prosecutors will be fully prepared for their duties on the bench at the end of the 2-year period that will pass in a master-apprentice relationship. Erdoğan congratulated the 1076 assistant judges and prosecutors who started their training last week and wished them success. President Erdoğan congratulated the ministers, MPs, and experts who contributed to the system from its conception to its implementation. President Erdoğan said, "We will take new steps according to the demands, expectations, and complaints of the society, and we will continue on our way by setting new goals for ourselves. No matter how much we have cleansed our state from the apparatus of tutelage and fed remnants, we will continue the fight without losing caution and vigilance," Erdoğan said. "If it is written on the judgments that our courts decide on behalf of the Turkish nation, it is natural that social sensitivities are taken into consideration in the cases," President Erdoğan said. Erdoğan continued his speech as follows. "Decisions that do not appease the public conscience cannot contribute to the construction of social peace and tranquility. The place for those who commit crimes, those who attempt the nation's property, honor, and life is not on the streets, but in prisons where they will be punished to the last degree." Social media channels, where there are no rules, values, or moral boundaries, have gradually turned into a major operational apparatus. It is everyone's responsibility to protect and observe the integrity of the ongoing investigation while publishing publications that satisfy the public's curiosity. President Erdoğan said, "We must not allow political and ideological calculations to be made with the nation's belief values, the institution of family and religious institutions over the bodies of innocent children. We must not allow justice to be sacrificed for ratings and interaction hunting. All responsible parties, especially our media, should show maximum sensitivity."